Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, and welcome to the Slang of Ages podcast with season 8. And we have a returning guest. We're very fortunate to have Joe Bailey back on the podcast. Joe is meeting us from England, and we talked to Joe last, I think it was in 2023, on his wonderful album Splinters. And Joe's been very busy since then because a few months ago, he released the wonderful album Torrential Pain, which we're going to talk about. Joe, how are you?
I'm wonderful, thank you. Yeah, how are you?
I'm great. It is good to
Good.
see you again. I know we talked about Splinters. I don't think we talked about the album after that, which was that no, Devil in the White City was 2022. So that was before
Yes,
Splinters.
that's correct. Yeah.
So Splinters was your last album, right? As
Yeah,
a
I
solo
think,
artist.
yeah, that's correct. Yeah, because in between that and Torrential Pain, me and Mark did The Weight of the World, I think.
Right.
Is that
You
in
did
between?
the Dark Monarchy album on the way, yeah,
Yes.
the Way of the World, which is also wonderful. And I know that I reviewed Devil in the White City, which just just a wonderful album, wonderful thematic album. Then before that was Ghost in 2021. Before that was Less is Nothing 2019, A Price to Pay 2018, Night and Day 2017. Um, and then I think it was The End Comes Too Late 2015.
That
So
was the first one,
Joe,
yeah.
yeah, you keep very busy with your solo stuff. You keep very busy with the Dark Monarchy with Marc Anthony K. But we're going to focus on Torrential Pay because those are really six wonderful songs. Talk about how you came up with the concept for Torrential Pay.
Okay. There was not so much a concept involved, but I suppose it's very similar, familiar territory for me lyrically. A lot of sort of existential dread and all those sort of inner demons. It's kind of it comes naturally to me to write about that sort of thing. Um, this album was a lot easier to write. Sorry, I'm going to pull this headphone off. It's doing my
Sure.
head in. This album was a lot easier to write than Splinters was. It kind of came together a lot quicker. I think I had about 8 songs and 6 of them made it onto the album, so it was very easy to write. Whereas like Splinters was, there was a lot of tracks I wrote for that ended up not being on the album. So yeah, yeah. So I was really pleased with the way every track um, came out. Like I didn't have to make much edits, didn't have to change much. So it was a success from the word go.
Well, Devil in the White City, which was 2022, which had a very obvious thematical thread running through it, and it was a
Yeah,
wonderful album. But it was extremely dark. This one
yeah,
is a little bit different, as you mentioned, because it doesn't have that same thematical string, but it still holds together cohesively as an album. Um, Talk about the writing process because you mentioned you wrote some songs that you didn't use for this album. How did you decide what went in and was going to come in?
um, I don't know. I just get a feeling listening back to them, especially because when I'm coming up with vocal melodies, I tend to just I'll hit record and then I'll just sing a load of gibberish, whatever comes to my mind. And if it's not working, then I'll just discard it there and then. Really, maybe I'll come back to it and use some of the instrumental sections that I quite like. But if I'm instantly getting really good vocal melodies, then I know straight away it's going to be something that I'll use. And that was kind of with this album. It just every time I went through all the songs, it was like, oh yeah, this is going to work perfectly. It was a really nice, easy process this time round.
Has a process changed since like 2021's Ghost in terms of how you write?
Um, Not really. I'd say since then I write a lot more on the guitar now. Previously I wrote most of it on the computer. I use Guitar Pro and I write all my ideas that way and then import a MIDI file into my DAW and then work on it that way. But this time round and with Splinters as well, it kind of the guitar kind of played more of a prominent role. So it's nice because I kind of write things that I wouldn't usually write. Like there's a lot of like riffs on this new album, I think, which is not usual for me because normally I'll use the guitar as like a sort of like the backbone or like along with the bass, it's more the power chords and things like that. But I've now writing on the guitar, I kind of want to show that off a bit more.
Oh, your guitar parts have always been really strong. But as a fledgling bass player, I really have always admired your bass parts and how prominent your bass has been on your albums. But this has everything. It has that a strong rhythmic and melodic guitars. It has that driving bass, and you have that double bass drumming too, which all
Yeah.
seem to work together. Um, so you said you started writing this one more on guitar. Then would you capture the music first or your lyrics first, or how did that come together? How did that mesh together? Music and
So
lyrics.
it's normally always the music first. The only time really that I've not done that is for The Devil in the White City. I wrote all of the lyrics first for that because obviously because of the story and I had to basically write the music around the story. Whereas this time, I wrote the music first and then the lyrics come afterwards. It's always been the way I've worked. Um, Although writing it the opposite way around, I kind of find it more interesting sometimes. But yeah, the music always comes first.
That's amazing. And sonically, it is extremely strong. And for those of you who don't know Joe's music, I mean, he's a one man band. He plays everything, he programs everything, and the soundscapes really lush and amazing. Have you changed your technique and equipment for Torrential Pain?
I wouldn't say there's not really been any equipment changes, except for I had a Sustaniac pickup installed in my electric guitar, which I've wanted one for years, and I finally bit the bullet and went ahead and got it. And you can, if you listen to the silence, the solo in the silence is got the Sustaniac on the full harmonic mode, and it's just a beautiful sound. It was a sound I was introduced to by there's a band from Liverpool called Anathema, and the guitarist in Anathema, he had a Sustaniac on his guitar, and it was always a sound that I loved. So I wanted to quite not recreate that sound, but I wanted to pay homage, and also it's a lovely sound. So that's one thing that's changed. But other than that, I'd say I've just been brushing up on my production skills. Really, it just with every album it's easier and I kind of know exactly what to do. Whereas, years ago, it would be like, I just look at the screen and be like, what the hell am I doing? But now it's like, I know what to do now. So that kind of, it kind of helps massively, especially with a mix that's got so many tracks on it. So, some of these songs have got like 30, sometimes 40 tracks on them, but it can be a bit daunting. Like,
Yeah, Joe, it really does feel it feels lush, but it's very powerful and aggressive throughout. And when I listened back to Devil in a White City, which was what 3 years ago, I mean, I thought the production on that was as brilliant as well. So it's hard to, I think, I know you're the artist, you're doing this, but it's hard to imagine you exceeding the production from those, especially the last two albums. They were so strong musically.
all right,
Um,
thanks very much.
but
Nice to hear.
Torrential Pain is fantastic. So can we talk a little bit about some of the tracks?
Yeah,
I'm going to jump
that's
around a little bit because that's what I do. So um, I'm going to start with I guess the epic of the album, a rhapsody of Sanctum in disguise. How'd you come up with that? What's it about?
Um, so this was I knew straight away I wanted this to be the epic of the album. It had so many different iterations though. Like the opening riff and the riff after that were not in the song originally. and then there's a whole midsection that was not there. I was listening back to it. This was after I'd written the lyrics, and I was like, there's just something not right about this song. So I literally rewrote the opening riff and the riff after that. In fact, there's about three or four riffs that I just completely binned and made new riffs, and it was for the better as well. Like the new riffs that I wrote was so much better. It just brought the song to life. And there was other things like I sent when the album was finished, I sent it to Steve, the guy who does all my artwork, and he made a suggestion. He said, I think you should do a little breakdown in the middle and just have like a vocoded voice, quiet doing the chorus. So I was like, that's a great idea. So I went away and added that bit into it so that it kind of it changed the atmosphere a bit, but it also added a little bit more time onto it. So it just pushed it over that 10-minute mark. Lyrically, it's about music. It's about, I suppose for anyone, it could be about something that gets them through, the daily struggles and things. For me, that's music mainly, and how powerful music can be in altering your mood. And I suppose that's pretty much the bulk of it, and just how important music is. I know music, the way we listen to music has changed, but I think the effect that music has on us from a mental perspective is exactly the same as it always has been. It's so important.
Song is brilliant. I think when I first heard the album, I said it may be my favorite song on the album. It is my favorite song on the album,
Yeah,
and
good.
that's saying something because there's some great tracks on the album. One thing that I appreciate about your last few albums um, has been your use of orchestration, the soundscapes. And you have that here too, which is also brilliant. Has your approach with those changed?
I suppose slightly. I'm kind of trying not to use as many string pads and trying to focus more on um, composing separate melodies and then trying to build up that way, like having the violas doing their own thing and cellos and things like that, rather than just putting a string pad in there like that. But other than that, nothing really changed. Orchestral, I've still got the same sort of influences. I mean, it's always been like it's never really been a classical music thing for me. It's always been symphonic metal. That's where I've got my influence and inspiration from the orchestra. It's always been listening to bands like Epica and, bands with that big, massive orchestral sound. I love it.
And you have that, and you have really I don't, well, maybe wall of sound isn't the right term, but the layering of the guitars, and it all seems to come together really well. This song is epic. I'm going to go next to Echoes, um, which is also one of my favorites on the album.
Right. Echoes is a bit of a homage to the band Frost. I'm sure everyone knows that they're one of my favorite bands in the whole world. Um, it's very Frost. Um, I'm trying to think. Kind of wrote itself, this one, really. It was very, very easy to write. Lyrically, it's about um, struggling to write lyrics. That's what the song's about. And sometimes I'll sit at the screen and be like, what the hell am I going to write about? And it just doesn't come. So I thought, what better thing to write about than not being able to write lyrics? So that's what that song's about.
Wow, it's amazing. I think that lyrically it's extremely strong. I love the keyboard and guitar interaction as well. So that's another fantastic song. All right, I'm going to go to the last song before I go back to the first song. So the last song is Brittle World, another epic.
Yeah, the riffs. This is the one I was thinking of with all those thrash riffs in the middle. Yeah, it's a great song. It's a bit of a weird one, really. I was playing around with effects and stuff, playing octaves on the guitars, and then I used some strange effects on there, and I was just having to play around with effects and stuff, and then kind of all came together quite nicely. And then I thought I'll um I'll get some riffs in here, and I was just having a little play around with like fourths and thirds and stuff, and that's where that middle section came from. There's so many different sections in this song. I think really got carried away, and loads of time signature changes as well. But yeah, lyrically, the song is about it's nothing personal or anything like that. It's about a man who's maybe done some bad things in his life and he's kept it to himself over time and it's eaten away at him until the point where he can't keep it in any longer. Uh, um, in my head, I had him down as somebody who was like who had been killing people and keeping it to himself. It's a bit dark, but you know me. Um, but that yeah, that was the idea behind that. Yeah,
Yeah, another brilliant song and a great way to end the album. I'm going to go
yeah.
back to I think it's the shortest song on the album, the first song, which is Life Runs Out. And that's a great way to kind of set the stage for the rest of the album.
Yeah, it was a very last minute thing because the album was originally going to open up with Tides of Time. It was going to be just the 5 tracks, and I thought I want to round it off to a nice six, and but have something that just kind of sets the mood, and I think it does that perfectly. Um, it was it was written all on the piano. This one actually, I didn't write this one on the guitar. Trying to think lyrically, it's very dark. It's quite personal, but you know, just how your mood can take you down really dark times, dark paths. It's also about the loss of people, which we've suffered a couple of losses over the last year, so that kind of helped it not helped but you know aided in the writing of that because that was the last song written for the album, so it was very much a sort of last minute sort of trying to make peace with myself over you know things that have happened. And yeah, it's a nice way of opening it, especially when it you know bangs into Tides of Time after that.
Yeah, and the sequencing of the album is excellent. And I know I'm going out of order, but yeah, the sequencing of the album, the songs we picked, the start and the ending with Brittle World is perfect. Um, has your vocal approach changed since you started doing your solo albums? Because I mean, the layers of vocals are brilliant. And your delivery on "Life Runs Out" is wow, it's amazing.
Thank you. I would say I've I've learned to work with my voice. I kind of know how to use it now. I think if you listen back to the first few albums, I was still kind of finding my feet with my voice. Even like I was because I'm currently I'll talk about this more in a minute, but I'm currently remixing the first album. So listening
Oh,
back to
wow.
all those early vocals, it's like wow, it doesn't almost doesn't sound like me. And I know it's still obviously me, but it doesn't like the technique is so different to what I'm doing now. So yeah, the technique has definitely changed in my vocals. And also the way I write harmonies, I think has changed a bit because normally I would just write well, I wouldn't even write them. I would just play the original vocal and then sing along until I've got something that fits. But now I've been writing harmonies on the piano and on the guitar, trying to find the perfect blend of harmonies. So yeah, I suppose that's a lot has changed over the years with my voice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's extremely strong and the harmonies are excellent. The second song on the album, when the second one is Tides of Time.
Yes. The song about I guess I have touched upon this many times before, but it's about the slog of life, really. You know, living each day you know, sometimes every day is the same in your working life. You know, you just gotta spend the day wishing it away, and then once you've wished it away, you wish you hadn't wished it away. If that makes any sense. But yeah, yeah, it's basically just about you know the sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, it's just everyday life, work and work. It's mainly based on working life. Musically, again, this was another one that had different riffs in it that I discarded in the end, and like that opening riff was rewritten in the end because I wasn't happy with it, and for the better. I mean, this has happened to me so many times over the years where I've just removed stuff because I haven't been happy about it, and I haven't missed it, and it's the difference between an album being good and being brilliant, in my opinion. Um, and it was it was a really explosive way to start the album after the little intro, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the song I didn't cover was The Silence, which was actually the first single from the album. Tell me
Yeah.
about The Silence.
So the silence was um, every like same with Splinters. I'm trying to sort of write songs that don't involve me playing anything. I know it sounds really lazy. Sometimes I have bad days with my fingers and I can't play very well. So the idea of, sometime in the future, you never know, my fingers might get worse and I might not be able to play at all. It's a bleak thought, but I like to cover that by writing songs that don't require me to play much, and then I can just focus on singing. So that was how that was born. I wrote that entirely using programs. And then I just added the guitar solos at the end because I wanted that Sustaniac in there at some point. Because the album was all fully recorded before I got the Sustaniac fitted in the guitar, and I wanted that so badly on the album. So I left that blank deliberately so I could record that. So I think that's why it's there's so many synth layers on it, because it was all just programmed, and then I've just layered it and layered it and layered it, and it's like it's panned everywhere all over the shop. The lyrics are about another strange idea that came to me. It was I am how I would imagine going suddenly deaf, and how horrendous that would be, not being able to hear anything anymore. And that's what the song's about. Harrowing, really.
Well, The Silence has a wonderful, well, the whole album has wonderful vocals, but here you hit the mark again with your vocals, and it has this wonderful orchestrated parts as well. I was fascinated by what you said about the guitar solo because the lead guitar, the solo guitar really does stand out on this track, though it stands on all of them. It is a great addition to. I can't imagine a song without it. It's brilliant.
Exactly. Yeah, it's such a lovely sound, that Sustaniac. I mean, I've used an Ebo on songs in the past, but it
Mhm.
just doesn't come close to the Sustaniac. It's just such a lovely sound, and perfect because it's so soulful for such a bleak song. And but personally, if the idea of not being able to hear anymore is just horrendous, so it's perfect because the guitar's almost crying in that solo, isn't it?
Mhm.
That's what I feel like anyway.
Uh, it's a wonderful album, Joe. I got this on Joe Bailey's Bandcamp site on CD, but I know I also ordered the
You did?
vinyl from you, and I know that I talked to Marc Anthony K about this a few weeks ago. That there's some issues now with, especially coming to the United States with tariffs and shipping and stuff. But this is coming out on vinyl very soon, correct?
Yes, they are. They should be with me within the next few weeks, thankfully. It's a very, very limited run. It's only 25, but we've tried to make it worth the while, worth the money, because unfortunately the shipping costs are absolutely dreadful, and I just can't get around it. So I've tried to add as many little bonus goodies and stuff that I can do just to make it worthwhile, because I feel really bad people having to pay that much on shipping, but there's no way else I can get around it. So we've got things made like personalized badges, coasters. I'm gonna do handwritten lyrics. What else are we doing? There's gonna be like Steve's created, he's designed an obi strip for the vinyl with all like it's got like all of my discography on it, and it looks really really cool. And what else are we putting in it? Oh, there's a poster as well, so that'll be a limited to 25. The poster as well. Yeah, there's going to be loads of cool stuff in it.
I think that if people don't already have, well, haven't ordered the vinyl and they're vinyl fans, this is a must have because first of all, the artwork is really cool and it'll be
Yeah,
much cooler on vinyl.
yeah,
And it's just a great thing to have. And sonically, the CD just sounds great. And again, I mean, you do everything. You produce, you engineer, you mix, you master. It's just a wonderful product. It's wonderful music. It is not Engelbert Humperdinck. It's hard.
yeah,
And
yeah,
lyrically, it is fascinating. And the thing I like about your albums, Joe, is that what gets me first is really the rhythm section, your bass playing, your drumming, and then the guitars. But there's so much unpacked lyrically that you have to
yeah.
listen again and again to get that. So it's a wonderful album, Joe. So what what did I forget to ask? Is there any new equipment that you use on this album that we didn't talk about when we talked about Splinters? Did I ask that already? I don't know if I
Um,
did.
no, you haven't asked that yet. No,
Guitars, bass, drum drumming, drumming.
no. I'm using all of the same equipment. I've got. Oh, I recently bought a seven-string guitar, a Schecter seven-string. So
Oh,
that's why, yeah. Because originally I had an eight-string. It was like a Chinese um, guitar. It was a cheap thing. That it was. That was. I was just using it for them low notes. But now I've got a really lovely seven-string, and that so all this. I didn't. I used a combination of the seven-string and the six-string on Torrential Pain. Um, just mainly for the low notes. That's it. Equipment wise, I think I've been using. There's a different drum kit on this album as well. It's an easy drummer. It's death metal kit, um, which I never thought I would use on one of my albums. I didn't think death metal kit would fit, but as soon as I heard that snare drum, I was like, oh, I need to use that. It's a
ah,
lovely
ah,
snare drum.
ah,
So
ah, 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 ah.
yeah, so that's it. That's pretty much all the new stuff. Same old gear. I've used that six string Schecter on every album since the beginning, and I've had the six string bass for a while now. Every album since the Price to Pay. So yeah, they work fantastically for me. I enjoy playing them, so I have no plans to replace them anytime soon.
And it comes through that you enjoy it and your music is it just jumps out of the speakers. Can't wait to get my vinyl. Um, and I know that you are working on, I have maybe finished the next Dark Monarchy album. So
Yeah, it's kind of slowed down a little bit. I had a bit of time away from it, and then Mark's also had some time away from it because he's preparing for a very imminent new Project Gemini album. I think it's out next week, is it? Or it's very soon
yeah,
at least.
very soon.
Um, yeah. So I think once he's released that and got the promo stuff out of the way, I think we'll probably reconvene. We've got a lot of music written, and I've written some lyrics, but yeah, it's still very much in the embryonic stages at the moment. So it's exciting. It sounded really good though.
Well,
What and
oh, in the
also,
meantime, go
sorry,
ahead. Go ahead, Joe.
also I mentioned earlier that I'm remixing the first album. This was supposed to be out much soon. It was supposed to be already out by now because it's celebrating its 10-year anniversary this year, which is a big thing. So I wanted to make it sound like it deserves because I've never been happy with the way it sounds. Because when I released that album, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just slapping compression on everything and I didn't know what I was doing using EQ presets and everything and just hoping for the best. And it sounds not great. I'll just put it that way. So I've been working really hard to try and get it to sound how I want it to sound. I've basically re-recorded nearly everything except for the vocals and the lead guitars. So it's looking like I'm going to release that next year in a double CD with Like Night and Day. I'm going to remix Like Night and Day as well, and I'm going to do them together next year as a like a sort of double digipack with both albums in it. So that should be something to look forward to for people who enjoy them first two albums. Because I do enjoy the songs that I've written. I think they're good. I just think they deserve to sound better.
Oh, that's really exciting because I don't have the End Comes Too Late, which was your first album.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that, especially when you're going really reconstructing it overall. I mean, it's
It's not just a remix. I've like re-recorded quite a large portion of it, but I'm still staying true to the original sound of it. I didn't want to take away it, so I'm still using all the same synth sounds and things like that. I haven't replaced any of that. I just like, even on that album, it was just one guitar track down the middle. It's like what was I doing? So it's all double track guitars now. It's all I've re-recorded the bass as well because the bass wasn't very good. So yes, it's sounding really good now. So hopefully next year we'll have a nice little double digipack for everyone.
I'm looking forward to that and the physical copies of that. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on the vinyl of Torrential Pain. I have the CD, so accompanying that would be great. Joe, is there anything else you want to add?
Um, um, I suppose anyone who hasn't listened to the album, have a listen because you might be pleasantly surprised. There's currently a pre-order going on for the CD and the vinyl version. I have the CDs in my possession now. They arrived a couple of days ago. So I have been posting them out to the people who have already pre-ordered them. So get your pre-orders in now. Sorry, I shouldn't even say pre-orders. Get your orders in for the CD now because they're here. And they'll be really very soon. Vinyl is on its way. I've had the test pressing. It sounds amazing. So yeah, please give us a listen, even if it's just on Spotify or your usual streaming platforms. Just give us a listen and give us a like, give us a share. It really helps.
Yeah, it's really good stuff. I've enjoyed your last several projects, and every time I get a chance to buy a physical one, I do. Again, I'm looking forward to Torrential Paint on vinyl, and then I'm looking forward to 2026, because I know you're going to have a busy year. Joe, I always appreciate talking to you. It's always an education. It's good stuff. Thank you very much.
Likewise, thank you for all your support over the years. It's really, really appreciated. Always a
Sure.
pleasure
Take
to be
care,
on the
Joe.
show. Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you. Take care.